Welcome to our special board meeting of trustees. We wanted to note that this meeting is being broadcasted on NUSD's YouTube channel at the direction of the board. The broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. If you would like to make a public comment on an item on the agenda or not on the agenda, please see staff at the side table for a public comment card. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. The board met in closed session. Trustee Alexander will report on those items.
Good evening, everyone. The board met in closed session on the following items: public employee performance evaluation, superintendent information only. Thank you.
May I please, moving on to approval of agenda, may I please have a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Thank you, Trustee Jacobson. Second by Trustee Mack. All those in favor? 7-0. Thank you. Any public comments before our approval of consent agenda? Perfect. Thank you. We are so glad to have public comments. 3 minutes are allowed for each commenter. However, we are not allowed to respond to these comments, nor are we able to speak about employees or student privacy situations. The board directs the appropriate staff member to respond to all commenters within 2 business days following our board meetings. Roberta Alves.
Yeah, so since you guys have responded my emails and my phone calls, so again, I want to make sure to let you guys know to leave my child alone. Your employees have been harassing my child in his private school, making phone calls, making social media comments about my family, and you guys have put my family immigration status in jeopardy. You guys are trying to ruin my life for the last year because I made a complaint, which is my son's right. You have no, I don't know who the hell you guys think you are. This is public, this is our tax money peers, and you've been using that to go after families. And for the last time, I'm gonna tell you, before I file a criminal lawsuit against you, leave my child alone. Do not contact my child's private school. Do not harass my child. Leave my family alone. We'll see you guys in court.
Thank you. Moving on, may I please get approval of consent agenda? Before we do approve the consent agenda, there is one change to the Director of Human Resource step, and that's been corrected. The correction is on your desk. So may I please get approval with the consent agenda with the correct salary range for the Director of Human Resources? Thank you, Trustee Pickus. Thank you, Trustee Alexander. All those in favor? 7-0. Thank you. Now moving on to our public hearing regarding proposed education parcel tax on June 2nd, 2026 ballot. First on my list is Tina McMillan.
Oh dear. There we go. Whole lot better. My name is Tina McMillan. I'm a longtime Novato resident, former NUSD parent, local business person, and an advocate for public education. I support putting a parcel tax measure on the June ballot, having participated in the Blue Ribbon Committee and the last parcel tax measure. I believe local control is the best possible way to ensure fiscal stability, maintaining programs and staffing for the benefit of NUSD's children and families. Thank you.
Mary Jane Large? Or Doug Whitney? Oh, okay, or Doug Whitney.
Yeah, she had to pick up her daughter. So first of all, I would like to commend and thank the board for your proactive putting of this solution forward, and we would definitely vote for such. I would like to call attention to some of the things that, as a person that has spent my life in the technical and commercial world, struck me among the cuts, that there are more than a few of these things which may cost, and I'm sure you're not unaware of this, more than they will save in the long run. We're talking janitorial, security. I would like to particularly call your attention to the situation at Nova. Our daughter is a student at Nova, and it's a grab bag there, but there are more than a few of these kids with 504s and IEPs who will immediately fall back on that, possibly creating very large expenses. Others will move out of district, reducing your reimbursement from state and federal governments. And our daughter does have an IEP. She's a straight A student and has over 850 books checked out from the local public library, but she cannot handle noise, and we've got physiological data on that. And the cut at Nova of one teacher out of 4 amounts to a 25% cut, which is proportionally rather larger than the others. Everyone, who's having a cut is going to have a defense, and in a sense, I don't want to plead a special exemption here, just the indication how this might be a false economy. At any rate, as I say, I'd like to close by thanking you for your proactive measure here, and would definitely encourage moving forward with it.
Thank you. Next, Michael Jolly.
My name is Mike Jolly. I've been a resident of San Marin for 43 years. Novato is the lowest funded district per student in Marin County, with 10% less funding than the California state average. And we have the largest student population in the county that we have to educate, as you do. Even with a new parcel tax, a second tranche to the one that was passed in '23, if you approve that, we are still going to be, Novato residents are still going to pay the second smallest parcel tax in Marin. So our present parcel tax of $251 is at the same rate that we've started paying in 2009, with no adjustment for 16 years of inflation. Imagine budgeting our homes with that possibility. I mean, state and federal funding, which is about 90% of your funding for our schools, is unpredictable, volatile, and almost impossible to budget, as the trustees know better than I could possibly say, all right? We have a $9.5 million deficit this year, and the board, I'm sure, will be cutting their fair share of that deficit with courage and with difficulty. But you'll do it. I know you will. So it's time for the citizens of Novato, the taxpayers, to measure up, which I know they will because they are a generous taxpayer group, to measure up and pick up the other half of the deficit with another parcel tax to raise about $4 million. So I'm going to strongly support the parcel tax. I'll again chair the finance committee for the campaign funds that are needed, more than $100,000 from private donations to get this passed. But above all, we cannot lose local control of our schools. And if we do not pass the parcel tax, and I believe Novato will, because they cherish their children's education, we could lose local control of our schools to the state in the next 3 years or so, and like Vallejo and others, all right? And that means cherished programs like STEM, MSA, others could be at state jeopardy. We don't want to do that. I appreciate your courage. Thank you for letting me address you.
Thank you. Susan Matthews?
Hi, I'm Susan Matthews, and I've been a parent in USD, my kids have now graduated, but I'm still a proud taxpayer, and I encourage you to raise my taxes a little more. I think that our community would be happy to keep our great schools strong, and I think we need this. We've worked so hard over the years to do the most that we can with the lowest funding in the county, and I've seen how the people in this district do the most that they can, and these cuts that will be necessary if we don't pass this partial tax are going to really impact our students, and we can't afford to wait around and let those cuts happen. We really need to step up as a community. And so I appreciate what you're doing to put it on the ballot, and I also want to encourage everybody who's listening to please get behind this and help us get it passed, too. Thank you.
Fran Rosal?
My name is Fran Rosoff, and I am speaking tonight in support of the proposed parcel tax. As a retired NUSD teacher, I can tell you that the parcel tax isn't just a line item on a ballot. It is the bedrock of our students' daily experience. Novato's parcel tax funds are essential for preventing millions of dollars of budget cuts that would directly impact our classrooms. It will ensure that NUSD continues to attract and retain quality teachers, protect core and enrichment programs, and maintain smaller classes. I could go on and on about the funding disparities and external pressures that NUSD faces, but I'm here this evening as a teacher who has personally experienced the frustrations of losing funding for critical programs, the counselors and specialists who provide essential support for your students. When I was teaching, we had a saying, you get it going good, and it's gone. That's what happens over and over again when the crossword puzzle of school financial support loses pieces due to the unpredictable way California funds school districts. Local parcel taxes provide a safety net for the volatility of educational funding, money that stays in Novato for Novato's kids. Well, I've lived in Novato for 40 years, and I've taught in Novato for 30. My 4 kids were fortunate to have been given an excellent foundation for success because our Novato community has always supported the parcel taxes and bond measures over the year. And I hope they will continue to do so for my 7-year-old granddaughter at Olive School. I continue to be a tireless advocate for strong educational funding because I know the impact it makes. As one of my former students explained to me, you made going to school a positive escape for me and encouraged me to not give up on my dreams. The memories from your class fueled my desires to get good grades, get a good job, and strive to be successful. The current parcel tax proposal of $249 for 8 years will help provide a predictable and transparent source of revenue, ensuring that NUSD teachers can continue to provide the high quality of educational experience our community has come to expect for all of Novato's kids. Thank you.
Next, Amy Farhart.
All prepared. I'll just speak off the cuff. My name is Amy Fairhart. I am a teacher here in the district. I work at Nova, and I also have 2 kids at Novato High School. And but I live in Lagunitas. But I have been such a very happy with. I've been in the district for 13 years now, and I love Novato, and so much so that we commute out here to send our kids to the MSA program, and are thriving in the program. And I've been a lifelong advocate for public schools. That's all I've ever worked for. That's all I've ever attended is public schools. And I always feel like you judge the health of a community either by their public library or their public parks or whatever, like what's in service for the community itself. And so I feel like public school systems are a vital, vital component to what is needed and to serve the communities. Out in Lagunitas, we just passed a parcel tax for, I want to say it's close to the 900s with a 4% increase, and I still look. I'm like, how? Like, my question is, how is Novato expected to survive even with the 250 over 8 years? I'm just like, I feel like we're skating on this like razor thin. Like, this is not like because I feel like every year our programs, particularly Nova, is like on the chopping block, or these vulnerable programs with small programs with special services are very vulnerable to cuts. And I just feel like it's like literally year after year I'm exposed to these potential cuts, and now it seems like like I said, we're anyway reducing it even more in a very clear way. But I'm here. I'm on the parcel tax committee as well, so I'm here, of course, to lend my support and thank you, and even maybe even encourage. Like I said, I feel like when we compare other districts, they're more in the 1,000, 1,300. I know Novato's not the same thing, but I'm just like, even a $500 parcel tax over 8 years just doesn't even seem like adequate for stable funding. But I want to just emphasize the value of, like you mentioned, the safety net and the importance of being able to fund these special programs that we've all worked very hard to be part of. So thank you for your time, and good luck.
Thank you. Erin Compton?
Hi, Erin Compton. I am the proud parent of 2 kids in secondary school here in NUSD. I do a lot of advocacy work. Pretty familiar with our state of California budget, and I know that that is not something that we can rely on any longer to get us through. I appreciate the idea of putting this parcel tax on the June ballot. I have a pretty good network of parents that are energized and want to get this passed. So everyone else that has already spoken before me has pretty much covered all the bases. So thank you for doing this, and really happy to be part of anything that we can do to move this forward and get this approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Isaac Betancourt?
Hi, I'm Isaac Bancourt. I'm a student from Nova. All I want to say is me and my family, we support the parcel tax. Of course, it's not, only, about the money. We love our teachers here, especially at Nova. I believe we have, one of the best teachers in Nova. They're so kind and so lovely, and we all want them to stay. And as Nova students, we all have different needs. We're all in this. We're all in Nova because we have different reasons, maybe health-wise, maybe just by choice, but also we also want to support the parcel tax because it's been noticeable that some of the work that we've gotten is not up to date with some other work. For example, I was doing some schoolwork, and I got this book to grade some of my work. This book, or grading book, was outdated compared to the work I was receiving. So if we really want our students to continue getting good grades, we want them to get really good GPAs, we want them to advance in life, we really need this parcel tax to make everything great again, and to also support our lovely teachers here. Thank you.
Thank you. Roberta Alves? Roberta Alves? She had this is the open hearing. Okay, moving on. Okay, and then we now have Tim McCarthy.
Board President Limita, members of the board, my name is Tim McCarty. I live at 1247 Highland Drive in Novato. I'm here on behalf of my granddaughter, Poppy Marie, who is an outstanding student at Loma Verde Elementary School. I have firsthand experience with extraordinary teachers who get great educational support, an outstanding principal, and excellent education programs. I'm here to advocate for the extension of the parcel tax. The extension of the parcel tax will keep the excellent programs that I see every day when I'm working with my granddaughter. In contrast, failure to extend your parcel tax will result in reduction of educational programs. I'll put on a different hat. I'm a 41-year educator. I was a school superintendent at 2 school districts. I've worked with school districts that have had to cut their budget through the recession, through the ups and downs, and I'm currently a consultant with the district up north who's having to cut their program severely. So the parcel tax is really aspirational for you. It will prevent you from having to go through very difficult choices. As been mentioned tonight, there is a village of Novato residents, parents, who are willing to support this parcel tax. We're 100% all in, and we want you to give this the strongest consideration. We'll be ready to roll up our sleeves, walk the streets. We know how to do this, and we want you to say yes tonight to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ellen, do we have any more public comments? Okay, perfect. I will now close the public hearing. Moving on to discussion action. First thing under discussion action is approval of resolution number 19, 2025-2026, calling an election for approval of an education parcel tax.
Good evening, trustees. Yes, tonight we're bringing the back end of this public hearing, which is the actual approval of resolution number 19, 25-26 for the election approval of the education parcel tax. It's a mouthful. I can't really say anything about this that this crowd of wonderful people hasn't already said about how much we need this, how much our budget has been hit left, right, and center since COVID. LCFF doesn't feel fair anymore, if it ever did. State and federal funding isn't really making up the difference. And there's a lot of economic uncertainty with that. The parcel tax, local control, reliable, ongoing, and for a predetermined period. I also have with me tonight William Tudyk, who is going to come talk to you about the actual resolution and the actual ballot language. He's with DWK, Dance, Wolver, and Kelly, and he's the author of the language in the packet. So I'm going to turn it over to him.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's good to see all of you again. As mentioned, William Tudyk with DWK helped to put together the resolution. I'm not going to take credit for all of the wonderful language in here. I'll take credit for the boring parts. I think other people wrote the more interesting language. But nonetheless, and I know many of you have seen similar resolutions before, but I just think for everybody's benefit, if it's okay, I'd like to walk through the resolution, kind of talk about which parts are doing what and how it all works together. And then if there's any questions from the board, happy to answer those as well. So with a resolution like with this for a parcel tax, it really has 4 different parts to it. The first few, about the first 4 or 5 pages, are the resolution itself. And what the resolution is doing is the board explaining why it's calling the election to place the measure on the ballot. And that's the first couple pages. I think a lot of what you've heard tonight and what was just mentioned is recited in those recitals at the beginning of the resolution. The remainder of the second, I think third, fourth, and fifth page is the instructions to the county officials, mainly the county register of voters and county superintendent, to actually call the election for school district parcel taxes. It's actually called by the county superintendent of schools. So this is the instructions, the legal language that we need to get the measure on the ballot in June. If you go to what is Exhibit A, which follows the resolution, where it's a summary of the measure, this is the ballot label. So this is the 75 words that appears on the ballot when voters go to cast their votes. You're limited by law to 75 words, and whereas actually about half of that is legal language that we have to include. So you don't have much to tell voters exactly what the funds are going to be used for, but again, we're only given 75 words, the amount of the tax, the annual amount to be generated, and then the term are all in there. So voters can see that right up front, as well as some of the uses highlighting the citizens oversight, the senior exemptions, some of the most important parts of the tax. So that's what actually goes on the ballot when voters vote. Exhibit B, which starts on the next page, is the full text of the measure. This is the measure that's actually being approved by voters when they vote on that ballot question, essentially. This will be on the ballot pamphlet. It's not obviously on the ballot, given the length. This is the measure itself. So again, at the beginning here, we have on the first page or so an explanation of the reasons this is being put on the ballot, the purposes, uses of the funds, that type of language. It's going to mirror pretty much what you saw on the first page of the resolution. When we get to the second page, it talks about the purposes of the measure. That talks about what the funds will be used for, could be used for over the term of the measure. Again, kind of mirroring what you've seen in the previous pages. And then down below that, we give the details of the tax, so the amount, again, the years, the start date in June of this year, and then some of the definitional language that we use. This is all, just so you know, mirroring the current measure that you have, so there's no issues in kind of the two of them working together. All of the language is exactly the same, so that when it gets administered, it's pretty seamless. That actually, well, and I should mention too, on the top of that next page, B3, we specifically point out that this measure and your current measure are independent, right? So this doesn't affect the levy of that tax that was adopted in 2023. We move down then to the exemption. So under state law, you're actually only allowed to have 3 types of exemptions from parcel taxes. You can't have any more, even if you would like to. So these are the 3 that are allowed, primarily the senior exemption for those who are 65 years or older, meet some of the other requirements in here. They can apply for an exemption from the parcel tax. It's a one-time exemption, and if they're currently exempt under your current measure, the way we've written this, they're automatically exempt from this measure. They don't have to go through the process of reapplying as long as they're continue to be eligible. And then the only other part I was going to mention on the next page, under the accountability provisions, you have the required annual audit. That's a statutory requirement. And then you again have a independent citizens oversight committee. For parcel taxes, unlike bond measures, there's no legal requirement to have oversight committees, but you currently do have one, and this language would require one for this measure. It would allow your current oversight committee to also function as the oversight committee for this parcel tax as well. And then just so you know, the last page of this, so that we got a little bit more legal language, and then the last page where it talks about the formal notice, that's for the county superintendent. As I mentioned, they actually call the election, so we give them the language to do that just to make it a little bit easier. But that's essentially how the whole thing works as a package, and again, pretty much following what we've done in the past with the district. But if there's any questions about the resolution or the tax, I'd be happy to answer them.
Do we have any questions or comments? Just a quick question. On Exhibit A, there's a question mark at the end of the paragraph. Should that be a period?
So for all the educators in the room, yes, it should be a period. As far as the law and the lawyers who wrote the law is concerned, it has to be a question mark. That's actually in the law as a question mark. So that is how it's the worst question ever written, but that is the question.
Okay, thank you. So seeing no questions or comments, this is a roll call vote. So may I please have a motion to approve resolution number 19, 2025-2026, calling an election for approval of the educational parcel tax. Thank you, Trustee Gasson. Second by Trustee Jacobson.
President Lametta, sorry, is this I actually do have a question. Can I, before we do our full vote?
Yes, Trustee Pickus.
In Exhibit B, in the last paragraph, the last sentence says, if a new parcel tax is not approved by voters, the district would have to make an additional $4 million in cuts that could include reducing academic programs, athletic programs, and laying off teachers and staff. Not approving a parcel tax would lead to likely more than $4 million in cuts as we continue to move further into the red, correct? And so I wonder if language around that is that is that a 4 million in cuts next year? Or, and that language seems like a very finite, but I see actually not passing a parcel tax having ongoing and compounding cuts for our future. And I wonder if language there should suggest that in some way, as opposed to this very finite amount of cuts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, maybe I'll let Josh take a look at that, but I think where that's, the 4 million is probably just directly corresponding to the amount of the parcel tax, so I think those are how that goes, but I don't know if we want to tweak
Well,
that
and
language.
the language of the parcel tax is this would bring in $4 million annually. And so should this say 4 million?
Oh, annually.
I just wonder if there should be an extra annually or a 4 million plus compounding.
Say an annual cuts, I mean, would that be?
I don't know if it is if it is clear a 4 million annual cut, but the language here suggests like, if we don't pass this, this will be the amount that will be cut. And it seems like the magnitude, that's a lot of money. And it also seems like it will continue to compound and grow larger.
Yeah, what William suggested there was exactly right. The 4 million is just why we pick 4 million, because we also pick 4 million for the parcel tax. We do believe that that is the number that is needed to have a balanced budget. With the idea of like, could other things go wrong? Could it get, and therefore get worse? Of course they could, but things could also get better. But is it going to get $4 million better? Probably not, right? So we had to like land on a number at some point and say, what's the hard number? And this is the number that we believe is the right one to get us across the finish line. What I was suggesting to William here, and I don't know exactly how this process would work, to making an edit there, but I think for clarity's sake, it would be ongoing cuts. That's what we were suggesting here, right? So it wouldn't be we cut 4 million, then the next year we cut an additional 4 million. Is we would cut 4 million of ongoing dollars. That would be removed from our budget, which is what we usually suggest as programmatic cuts. So we talked about maybe adding the word ongoing, which really clarifies that is, it wouldn't be we cut it one time and then bring it back next year. We cut it one time and it's gone.
So 4 million in ongoing program costs or ongoing something?
I think it's just ongoing cuts.
Okay.
What about the word minimum, a minimum of 4 million? Is that too wordy then? Adding minimum of 4 million ongoing.
Well, and I like, even if it just says minimum, it suggests that there could be potential impacts that are larger than this. So yeah, even if it doesn't say ongoing and then there's questions about the amount of ongoing, but some kind of qualifier there that suggests whatever.
So we have, I'm thinking, I think I was a first, so I'm going to withdraw my motion.
Just so we can clarify this piece, or?
Right, I think that we were going to do something. So we have a motion on the table, so you need to, I can either withdraw or you can take a vote and we can just.
No, Ellen, what is, oh, okay. So we can withdraw your motion then.
I think and actually just this language shows up on in the middle of page 2 and then also the bottom of page B1. I think it's in both places, so we'd probably want to make it the same in both. What I'm hearing is to reword that sentence to say the district would have to make a minimum of an additional $4 million in ongoing cuts, and then just continue the language from there on. Yeah. Yeah. So and the board can, if there's an emotion to adopt with those amendments, then we can take care of it on the back end.
So I would like to propose to make a motion to approve the resolution with the amendments presented.
Right.
Thank you, Trustee Gasson. Thank you, Trustee Jacobson. This is a roll call vote. And Trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Gasson.
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson.
Aye.
Trustee Lametta. Aye. Trustee Mack.
Aye.
Trustee Pickus.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Oh, Trustee Gasson?
Yeah. Yeah, what, no, I mean, you guys can stand or not. I just wanted to add something now that we've passed this, if I can just take a moment for that. Is that okay? Okay, so, I just wanted, well, first of all, thank you for all of that spoke tonight. I just so appreciate your being here and the support, and I know many of you, and it just means a lot to us, as we go into this adventure to get this money for our students and our schools. It's just really appreciate your being here. And also want to acknowledge that a lot of time and work went in from our staff, the road shows, the town halls, meeting with, our community members and trying to get the information out there, because it is, it's important to try to help explain what's going on, and it's not just here in Novato. You can pick up the paper and see it's across the state. So this is a issue that's bigger than Novato, and this is a piece of helping support us alleviate some of the fiscal strain that we're going to have coming in the next couple of years. For myself, the conversations that I'm having, and I just want to share out in public, I think we came to the right place. There's been conversations about the amount, using I always get this wrong, it's an inflator, escalator, and the timing, and just to share where I was coming from on those elements. I guess the first would be timing. Think we can all say it's uncertain every single day what the future is going to hold. And if we go out now, it would be beneficial, because then we can get the money earlier. If we wait until November, we don't get the money until the next year. So that was significant for me in terms of timing. The inflator, that's been brought up by cost, that we should have had one. A lot of Marin County has inflators. We've heard Novato, they don't want an inflator. And so we're trying to honor that and respect that, or at least that's my opinion of where we came to that. So there isn't one. And then the dollar amount, I was really adamant that I didn't want to go out for anything less than what could help us stay afloat. And so this was by design, that amount. And so, getting to a place where we can at least try to stabilize a little bit in an uncertain environment that we're in right now. And personally, I consider this just one thing in a bunch of options for us, not here at the district level, but at the state level, and sitting down with our representatives as we did, I'm losing track of time, 2 weeks ago, I guess, and just really pushing and saying, this isn't just about Novato, it's about all California schools, and we need to have something change. So continuing that advocacy, and then also jointly with the rest of the county, Marin County, I just met with 2 other trustees this week, and just talking about how we can each support one another in trying to turn things around and do right by our kids here in the community.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you so much to everyone that came out this evening.
I have the next item too.
Okay, that's you. Okay, next thing on our agenda is approval of Public Agency Retirement Services, PARS, retirement incentive.
Absolutely. So with Resolution 10 of this year, the board on December 2nd, the board approved us to enter into contract with PARS to offer retirement incentive to our staff. The retirement incentive process was incredibly successful. We're very happy with the outcome. It led to 24 certificated non-management, 3 certificated management, 2 classified management, and 17 classified non-management employees accepting the PARS retirement package. We do not believe that any one category, one specialty, one classification is over-identified in this, and we really hit the marks as we talked about. We would have loved to see 20 certificated staff members, and we saw 24. So we hit basically every mark that we wanted to, which is going to severely reduce the amount, if any, people who will be laid off when the positions are terminated at the end of this school year. And that is, of course, the other side of this, is the morale side, not just the financial savings, but also the morale side of that we aren't laying off people, even though we're reducing positions. This has a cost to it, about $800,000 a year will be a cost. We have found that the actual savings is more than that. So we are actually going to, it is a good financial decision to go forward with the program. So we would like the trustees, with any questions, of course, but to approve the PARS retirement incentive.
Do we have any do we have any questions or comments before we approve?
Sorry, just a clarification. It says the cost is $904,000. You said $800,000. So I just want to make sure.
$900,000.
Thank you.
Apologies, $900,000. Yes.
Any other questions or comments?
Josh, I appreciate the comment that you made around not just positions, but the morale component. I think is really important. I think that people at the sites see colleagues whose positions are disappearing, and it feels very personal, even though what we're trying to do is like honor the individuals, even if we have to close positions. So I just really appreciate that comment because I think how it feels for our staff members is so important. Like, this is a business decision, but it feels very real. It has very real implications for people. So just in our messaging around cuts at the site levels, I would hope that we can also, and I think you guys do a great job of just really honoring the people in our community, but just wanted to emphasize that point because I think that that's, the human piece is super important here. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments? Okay, may I please have a motion to approve the Public Agency Retirement Services PARS Retirement Incentive? Thank you, Trustee Mack. Can I get a second? Thank you, Trustee Pickus. All those in favor? 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have approval of resolution number 2025-2026, approving an amendment to resolution number 2025-2026, reducing certain positions in the classified service and directing the layoff of the classified employees occupying said positions.
You know, it is a mouthful. So thank you. Good evening, everybody. The resolution here before you, 20-2025-2026, it is basically an amendment to the resolution that was brought forward and approved at the February 10th meeting, regular meeting. It only is just a correction to the FTE amounts for the custodian 1 and the custodian 2 classifications. We had those numbers reversed on the resolution you approved at the last meeting. So this is just to formally make that correction.
Any questions or comments? May I please have a motion to approve resolution number 2025-2026? Thank you, Trustee Gasson. May I please have a second? Thank you, Trustee Jacobson. This is a roll call vote. Trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Gasson.
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson.
Aye.
Trustee Lametta. Aye. Trustee Mack.
Aye.
Trustee Pickus.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So this concludes our discussion action items. We are now moving to a study session. Thank you so much for those who joined us this evening.